Okay, folks, time out with B. So stop what you're doing and give me about 5 minutes of your time. What I want to talk to you guys about today is something that's really been pressing on my heart, and it seems pretty simple. It's about forgiveness. But a little testimony of my own was I was adopted from birth. My biological mother was 15 years old when she gave birth to me, and I later found out who she was, and actually she and I had a sister relationship for several years. I didn't know she was my mom, and I can't imagine now what that was like for her. And I can't imagine that because I lost her in October of last year. Now, prior to losing her, there was a lot of things that happened, a lot of events, a lot of things that added to this unforgiveness that I had had for so many years with her. And it went way beyond the adoption and way beyond her addictions and way beyond, well, actually I think it was a combination of all of that in addition to some of the things that she had done to me. And I tried several times to have this relationship and it just didn't work. And I finally really cut ties in 2005 and had said, I'm not talking to this woman anymore. I don't want anything to do with her. I didn't even recognize her as my mom. She was just a person to me. That's kind of how I left it, and I was content with that. As the years progressed and my spiritual walk increased, I began to feel a conviction with that. And in the summer of 2013, I made a phone call. And I don't want you to think I just woke up one day and said, hey, I'm making this phone call. I had a very dear friend of mine who pushed me as well and said, Belinda, this isn't right. This, in spite of what you think, this is your mom. And I still was, whatever, that's not my mom. And I think about it now and I'm kind of ashamed. But I told you all of that to tell you that I had carried around all this stuff. I was angry with her for addictions and actually things that were a norm to her at one time. And I had allowed them to poison me. And the day that I decided to call her, words can't explain the details of that phone call. She was sobbing and talking about an answered prayer, and my thing was, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm almost 40. It happened, it's over, let's move forward. And when I lost her last year in October, I was grief stricken, which it's my mom. You think, well, that's your mom, certainly you should be. But if you look at the relationship that we didn't have and the years that we went not interacting, in my mind, I was like, this is so much harder than it should be. What I see now, though, is that I was crying and upset and grief-stricken due to what could have been, due to the unforgiveness that was shown on my part for so many years. I tell you that, not only tell you that Mark 11:25 tells you that when you stand in prayer, that if you hold anything against anyone, that you are to forgive them so that your Father can forgive you as well. So who are we to hold on to that when He tells us we need to forgive them? Not only because I can forgive you, but I have forgiven you. Don't let another day go by without forgiving that person. That one you've been thinking about, that conviction you've been feeling, it's been on your heart, and the unforgiveness is now a pride issue. Don't be me. Don't be the one that's grieving and upset and going, I could have eliminated this. I'm part of the reason that all of those years went untouched. Forgiveness isn't about them, and you let your pride get in the way. Forgiveness is about you. It's about you. It's about your relationship with the Lord. Call them. Let it go. How many years are you going to hold on to that? How old are you now? You're going to be sitting there one day and be almost 50, 60 years old, still angry at this person. Don't wait till they're gone to make that phone call, though. Don't wait till they're gone to make that visit, because the burden that will come if you don't forgive them is something you don't want. I'm grateful today that I made that phone call. I'm sad for the years that I lost. And I'm a little upset with myself for not making the call sooner. But I can't change that. Don't wait till they're gone to forgive them. This is Time Out with B. Thanks for listening.